What's going down, y'all? Is one half of the Wake Up Crew, Ray G, here to talk some college football prop plays over on Prize Picks for this week 12, November the 19th, 2022 college football slate. As always, we don't make you pay for picks. We don't send you to a website. All that I ask is that you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, like the content, comment below. Let us know what you're rocking with today in the college football landscape. Take what you like, leave what you don't. Just hit that thumbs up button. But let's dive into the plays. I got a little power play for y'all this Saturday morning. Talked about this in our free newsletter. Link is in the description. But Zach Charbonnet, running back out of UCLA, more than 125.5 yards versus USC. USC is going to play fast. They have one of the best offenses in college football with one of the best quarterbacks in Caleb Williams. But what UCLA has is also a dynamic quarterback in DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and one of the best running backs in the NCAA, Zach Charbonnet. Charbonnet did not play last weekend, but you can see, he didn't play 2 weekends ago, but you can see what he's done over his last 5 games, averaging 170 yards per game on the ground versus Arizona, 181, Stanford almost 200. The thing with UCLA is they are going to give him the ball early and often. Last year in the same game, Charbonnet had 28 carries, 167 yards. I know it's a different coaching staff, different regime, but they are going to pound the ball with Zach Charbonnet. And when you've got a dynamic rusher like DTR, there should be running lanes open for Charbonnet to capitalize on USC's about middle of the road rush defense. Are giving up, I believe, close to 140 per game on the ground. So this should be a good spot for Zach Charbonnet in the evening slate. Primetime game. Should be a lot of scoring in this one. I still think this number right here for Charbonnet is just too low. Another running back that I want to talk about that you compare with Charbonnet in a power play is Illinois running back Chase Brown, one of the best running backs this season in college football. You see what he's done over the last 5 games, 141.8. But last week, first time going under 100 yards versus Purdue, had 98 yards. They gave him the ball. The thing about Chase Brown is he can catch it out of the backfield. The issue is he's up against Michigan's defense today. This is the number 1 ranked defense in college football. They're only giving up about 72 yards per game on the ground. They're going to be able to get penetration early and often on Illinois. I do not envision Chase Brown going over this 96.5 yard. So I would take the less. I would go under 96.5 for Chase Brown. This Michigan defense is no joke. If Brown gets there, then damn it, he's the best running back that in college football, because nobody's been able to accomplish this. They've faced talented running backs, Katron Allen, Nicholas Singleton. Nobody has been able to crest over 100 yards on this Michigan defense, and I don't think it's going to start today. Their defensive front should be able to generate a ton of pressure on Illinois, so I'm taking the under on Chase Brown. And one final player that I want to talk about is a bonus flex, not a core play. I am going to run him, Anthony, Anthony Richardson. Oh, yeah, Anthony Grant, another one of those guys who was sub 70 yards versus Michigan, talented running back out of Nebraska. But Anthony Richardson today, he's facing off against Vanderbilt. They have the second worst pass defense in college football, giving up close to 420 yards per game through the air against opponents. This Florida passing attack is not prolific. They don't have a lot of first-round talent floating around out there, but Anthony Richardson is playing better and better and better over his past couple of weeks. He's gone over this number, I believe, twice in his last 5 games. He had to do it versus Georgia. He did it again. There was another game where he went over this passing yard number. Where is it at? Right here. Texas A&M, LSU 185. This is what I like, the passing yards for Anthony Richardson. I also love his combined rushing and passing yards of 245. And you can't look up the last 5 game log here, but he's gone over this number 3 of 5 games, and he's done it in a multitude of ways. Versus Georgia, only 19 rushing yards, but he had 271 passing yards. You could see, again, there was another game where he went over versus Texas A&M, 88 yards through the air, on the ground. Didn't have to do a ton through the air. And then the LSU game, he sort of did a combination of both. He didn't hit versus Missouri, and he didn't hit versus South Carolina because they just didn't need him to play that much versus South Carolina. But I do like Anthony Richardson. If I had to lean on one, because I like the rushing, I like the passing, and I like the touchdowns, but we all know touchdowns are the least most predictable metric there is out there, and he's got to get 3 of them versus Vanderbilt, which should be quite easy. The fantasy score was 23.5 yesterday, got bumped up 2 points. I would probably lean on the passing yards, 185, and trust the matchup against the second worst pass defense in college football, or I would combine the passing and rushing yards at 245. So if you want to add these to the slip, the two cores are Zach Charbonnet and Chase Brown. If you want to lean on the passing yards for Richardson versus this porous pass defense, go there. You know he's going to run the ball, but in college, you do get negative yards for sacks. He takes a couple of sacks per game. 245 passing and rushing for Anthony Richardson also in play. If you're telling me flip a coin, which one would I pick? I probably would run both equally just to hedge a little bit. I like both of these numbers, 185.5 and 245.5 for Anthony Richardson. You can't play both, so pick whichever one that you like the most. And if you're a little iffy on these two plays, Chase Brown should be solid, and Zach Charbonnet's rushing yards should be solid for you as well. As always, take what you like, leave what you don't. Just hit that thumbs up button, subscribe on your way out. I appreciate you tapping into the channel. If you tail, give PRIZEPICKS hell, and if we fail, don't bail. We'll be back with more NBA, NFL prop bets, college football. We got all that stuff, and if I find anything else that I like on this college football slate, I'll drop it in the comments. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Good luck, and enjoy College Football Saturday. I'm out. Peace.